This is the story of Spendius, the survivor. He has traveled far and worked at many trades. His fate took a turn for the worse on the day he was captured by the Carthaginians and was enslaved in their great city. Superb are the temples that rise at the heart of the city, in the sacred precinct. Salambo, the grand priestess of Tanith, is resplendently beautiful. But Spendius is far from being in a position to appreciate Carthage's splendor. He works until exhausted, whipped by guards on the lookout for the slightest indication that he is slacking off. Seemingly forgotten in a secret dungeon, Spendius curses his fate. He would do anything to gain his freedom.
Be careful. The sacred precinct is crawling with soldiers.
If you are caught, you will be crucified. There is no pardon for escaped slaves. I am Salammbô, daughter of Hamilcar, and Grand Priestess of Tanith. The goddess has visited my dreams. She told me to come to this place, and so, if I meet you here now, it is because she has chosen you to be my messenger. Obey me in all things, and I will help you escape Carthage. An army of mercenaries is camped outside the city. The most important of their chiefs is named Matho. He gained glory while fighting Rome on behalf of Carthage. I noticed him during a banquet. Our eyes crossed, and I haven't been able to forget him. I love him. Go find him and tell him all of this. Tell him to ask my father for my hand in marriage. To prove my love for him, you'll give him a statuette in my image. You're suspicious. Ask your questions and I'll answer them. If I love him, he must feel the same. The goddess would not want it otherwise. Am I not her adopted daughter? Have I not honored her every day of my life? How could she allow me to love, unrequited? A grand priestess of Tanith cannot leave her temple, nor set aside the rites. I have strict rules to follow. The priestesses, my followers, would gladly render me such a service. But they talk too much, and the entire city would learn of my secret in no time. There is no love lost between us. My father is a man of power, who would like to handle my marriage as he makes alliances. Talking to him about my preferences would only irritate him. No, Matho is the one who must speak to him. He is powerful, respected, and my father will listen to him. How do you expect to leave the city without my help? And once you've gotten past the ramparts, then what do you plan to do? Set off alone in the desert? The slave hunters would find you for sure. No. You will need Matho's help to find shelter and protection. Have you noticed the carriage and mounts in the yard? A convoy is preparing to leave Carthage. It's the escort of Hannon, the treasurer, who will soon be leaving to go pay the mercenaries. Hide yourself in the bags, and you can leave the city without being detected. Quickly, may Tanith guide you.
Following Salambo's advice, the fugitive hides in Hannon the treasurer's bags. This ruse makes it possible to leave the sacred precinct and then the city without being stopped. Hannon and his escort are on their way to pay mercenaries that are camped outside of the ramparts. These men served Carthage during a lengthy war with Rome that was eventually lost. They are impatiently waiting to receive the money that is still owed them. After a short walk, Hannon stops in front of the mercenary camp. The treasurer lectures the men while his interpreter translates for those who do not understand Carthaginian. Hannon orders the Gallic mercenaries to present themselves first, to receive what is due them. The others will then follow in turn. During this speech, Spendius leaves his hiding place. Hindered by the chains around his hands, he unfortunately drops the statuette he was to give to Matho. How will the mercenary chief react when he receives his gift broken in pieces? A distressing question, for Spendius needs Matho's protection if he is to escape the Carthaginians who will be looking for him.
Who are you, and what are you doing in the mercenary camp? See, Matho? What does a vagrant such as yourself want with Matho? You're a curious messenger. But all right, enter Matho's tent. He can judge for himself.
I heard you speak to my guard, Spendius. What is this gift that you bring me? Let me see it. That's your gift? All I see is a broken object. Explain yourself before your skull is in the same condition as this statue. Salammbô. By the 7 Kabiris, the memory of her beauty is sheer torture. I would like to envelop her, absorb her, and drink her. But you tell the truth. She is really the one who sent you? Repair the statuette and show me. Then I'll know whether or not you've lied. Go find Authorite, chief of the Gauls. He has blacksmithing tools.
Ah, slave. You dare come to my tent to steal from me, Authorite, chief of the Gallic mercenaries? I'll pound you into nothing less than a small cube. Matho has asked you to come to my home and steal my tools? Come on. Invent a lie that's more believable than that. Well then, seeing as I've received the money that was owed and I'm in good spirits, I'll give you a chance. We'll play a game of katab. If you prove to be skilled, you will walk away from here with your miserable life. If you are inept, I'll personally deliver you to the Carthaginians. Ha ha, but you'll have to. Your victory, if you beat me, will be all that much sweeter. Here are the rules of the game. Each player takes his turn and throws a helmet towards a shield, aiming for the middle. Grab a helmet and begin. The tied game? You dare defy me? I'm sure you cheated, you miserable scum. Here are the rules of the game. You lost this game, but you played well. In exchange, I'll spare your life. I'll be content with taking these fine metal chains on your wrists. Place your hands on the anvil so that I can remove them. Don't forget that you now owe me. What would I do with you? I've received what I was owed, and as soon as the Carthaginians make ships available, I'll be off to Gaul. I sometimes think that the mercenaries could take Carthage if they only wanted to. The city would be at our mercy if we were to turn our weapons towards it. But I'm the only one to think like this. The other chiefs would not dare attack their erstwhile masters.
Friend, I have a huge selection of pots and jugs. Are you interested? I'm both, my friend. I'm a Gallic mercenary, but a warrior must keep himself busy in times of peace. To fight against Rome, Carthage recruited mercenaries from all countries. The battle was a long one. We won great victories, but in the end, the Romans proved stronger, and peace was concluded to their advantage. Obliged to leave the lost territory, we came back here to camp out in front of Carthage while waiting to receive the money we were owed. Yes, finally. I was just at Hanan's tent, where I got my money. I was lucky to be one of the first to get paid. Carthage's national army is not very big. In times of war, they must add foreign troops to it. We were originally camped inside the city, but Hanan made us leave to avoid disturbances, so he said. In fact, I think he's wary of us, as are many of his compatriots. This statuette is in poor shape. Use this fish glue. There's nothing better for fixing broken objects.
That's her face. Oh, Salammbô. You've disrupted my dreams and haunted my sleepless nights. I saw you from afar, untouchable, like the heavenly body of Tanith. Now I know that you love me. Nothing will stop me from obtaining your hand in marriage. I won't deliver you to the Carthaginians, but I won't do anything to hinder their search. I cannot make them angry. Not when I'm about to ask to marry the most beautiful woman of their city. Find another protector. No, Spendius. You could have been useful to me during the war, but now that peace has returned, I have no need for your talents. Go. You can move freely in the camp and leave it whenever you wish.
Hello, comrade. As I am a Numidian, life is beautiful. I will soon receive the money that is owed me, and until then, I drink spice wine on credit. A wandering wine merchant who left me to watch it. What I'm drinking is too strong for you. It's wine mixed with pepper and other secret ingredients. The Carthaginians give this to their battle elephants to ready them for combat. Now, you must be as strong as an elephant or a Numidian to appreciate this wine. One day, when we had run out of water, I served it to my mount. It's still running. As for you, I think that you'd fall flat as of the first sip, if you even dare drink any.
I am Narhavas, chief of the Numidian cavalry. Not yet, but it shouldn't be much longer. Hannon has begun paying the Gauls, and the Numidians' turn should be soon. It was high time, too. My men were beginning to get restless. Why should I help you? You are neither a family member nor a friend. No, Spendius. As soon as I've gotten the money I'm owed, I'll be leaving, as will all the other mercenaries. You will have to handle the Carthaginians on your own. No, there is no room for you in my homeland. And where will you go? To one side is the sea, and to the other the desert and the backcountry faithful to Carthage. You will be quickly captured. That I can't refuse you. Take this dagger. Not yet, but
Hannon panics. The gold meant for the mercenaries has disappeared. Spendius has gotten hold of it and hid himself to await what will happen. The treasurer tries to explain the situation to the mercenaries. My interpreter has been killed and your money stolen, he says in Carthaginian. But the Gallic warriors look at him, not understanding. In the confusion, Spendius mingles with the crowd and plays the role of interpreter. Hannon says he has no more money, and that no one else will receive anything. Too bad for those of you who have yet to be paid. There is an angry rumble among the mercenaries. The slightest thing could set them off. A rock thrown by Spendius is enough to start the riot. The mercenaries throw stones at Hannon. Hannon and his escort must quickly flee to save their lives. Spendius has managed to set the mercenaries against Carthage.
Tell me, Spendius, the entire camp is talking of the riot that chased off Hannon. Might you not have been the one to set it off? My men saw you cast the first stone at the treasurer. And isn't that a bag you have hidden under your clothes? A bag of money stolen from the Carthaginians, perhaps. Maybe we will. It's in both of our interests to provoke a war between the mercenaries and Carthage. Personally, I dream of destroying this city inhabited by greedy merchants. And in your case, you want to avoid being crucified. So, I agree to help you, but there'll be a price. Give me Hannon's treasure. Perfect. Now listen to me carefully. It will not be long before Carthage asks for justice for the attack on its treasurer. An inquiry will be held, and if it's successful, you will have real problems. You'll have to find a way of preventing this. You'll have to be truly skilled, for Matho and the other chiefs speak Carthaginian. They will be far less easy to trick than ignorant soldiers.
Spendius buys the support of the Gallic chief Authorite by giving him the money stolen from Hannon. Authorite does not wish to keep such a compromising treasure in his tent. He orders Spendius to bury it in a place that only they will know about. Barely is this task finished that a messenger from Carthage arrives at the camp. The city is seeking justice for the violence to which its treasurer was subjected. It has chosen as its spokesperson Hamilcar, Salambo's father, a great general known by the mercenaries that he commanded during the last war. Matho receives Hamilcar in his tent, in the presence of Authorite and the other chiefs. Introduced by the Gaul, Spendius attends the council. He will need to keep his cards close to his chest. If the mercenaries reach an understanding with Hamilcar, his life will not be worth much.
Welcome to my tent, Hamilcar. You who so often led us to victory.
Hello, Matho, brave among braves. And hello, Authorite, Nahavas, and all of my fellow comrades in arms.
I am pleased to see you, Hamilcar. To strengthen the ties that bind us, I've ordered a banquet prepared in your honor.
Before celebrating, let's settle the matter that brings us here. There are, among your men, a few lost souls that resemble savage beasts. They've been found guilty of attacking and stealing from Senator Hannon, Treasurer of the Republic. I've come here to obtain justice from you.
Yes, the men can be excused. The Republic waited too long before paying us.
You waited a long time, it's true, but the war was costly for us. Despite that, we found the necessary money. So why is it that your anger broke at the very moment when the treasurer began paying you what was owed? That makes no sense. Only certain Gauls got their money. All of the other mercenaries are still waiting. It is imperative that they be paid quickly. A point needs to be made clear. The Republic no longer owes you anything. There was enough money in the stolen booty to pay all of you. Identify the guilty parties and find the treasure, for it's effectively your money. How's that? Everything must be done to capture the thieves.
Hannon was in charge of the treasure. If he lost it, why should we be responsible?
Nothing says the robber was a mercenary. It could just as easily have been a Carthaginian member of the treasurer's escort. Then you refuse to search your camp for the guilty parties? Matho, will you betray my friendship by sending me back without complying with my request?
I wish for us to remain friends, Hamilcar, but this situation is a confusing one, and it seems hard to make a fair decision.
One thing is clear. The Republic must continue to pay. Otherwise, I am not sure how we can hold back our men.
I will transmit your answer to Carthage. The Senate will likely have a bad reaction, and I fear that war may erupt. A war that may prove very bad for everyone.
With his careful words, Spendius has sown the seeds of war. Hamilcar returns to Carthage without having obtained anything. After his departure, a heavy silence descends on the council tent. The chiefs look at each other questioningly, some of them already regretting the words that were said. They think of Carthage's antiquities and its glorious past. Would they really dare go to battle against the city? Or will they call Hamilcar back to resume negotiations? Once again, all depends on Spendius's silver tongue.
Woe is me. Hamilcar was furious when he left, and I have lost his regard. How will I now be able to marry his daughter?
Forget this woman, Matho. It's time for action. Carthage has mocked us. We must let our weapons speak for us.
Let's stop and think for a minute. It seems foolish to attack the city. Carthage has pushed back a good number of armies during the course of its history.
I fought rather well against the Romans, but would I be able to wield the sword against Salambo's homeland? With each blow, I would feel as though it were her I was hurting.
If we lay siege to the city, we risk being taken by surprise. The backcountry submits to Carthage's will, and the coastal cities are its allies.
Nobody will revolt against the Carthaginians as long as they hold Design. It is a sacred veil, given them by the goddess Tanith at the beginning of time. A prophecy says that this relic makes their city safe from invading forces.
It's a crazy escapade, one for which there will be no takers. Let's stop dreaming and see if we can resume negotiations with Carthage.
Now that's nice to hear. Hooray for Spendius! Bring us the Veil of Tanith, and Carthage will be supine at our feet.
The die has been cast. To convince the mercenaries to declare war, Spendius has accepted a dangerous mission. Returning to Carthage to bring back the Zainth, sacred veil of the goddess Tanith. Matho draws Spendius back to confide in him. When you arrive in the city, speak to Salambo. Tell her that events are forcing me to wage war on her birthplace. I've lost all chance of marrying her with her father's consent. But no matter. What I cannot have otherwise, I will get by force.
Greetings, Spendius. Rumor has it that you've got links to the council and that the chiefs are your friends. Bravo, you've made your way up since your arrival at camp.
That's not my problem. Take this bow, made in the manner of my country. It's a good weapon for killing sentinels from a distance and without making any noise.
No one enters the city. Keep your distance. No one enters the city. Keep your distance.
I guess you'll have to scale the walls or knock down doors. Nothing that should be too difficult for a thief such as yourself. Here's an iron bar and crampons for climbing. My poor Spendius, what would you do without me?
stranger. You're approaching the village of the Eaters of Vile Things. We are pariahs. Carthage has rejected us, and we've come to live here in the shadows of the waterworks. Because we believe that any flesh is to be eaten. We have nothing against them. On the other hand, we hate the Carthaginians. No, unless... Might you know how to capture pigs? All right then, you can enter. But make sure you don't disappoint us.
We are hungry, stranger. Kill 3 pigs with your arrows, so that we might eat. But beware. If you hurt any one of us, you will be the one skewered.
Spendius has killed a pariah with a poorly aimed arrow. He is captured, skewered, and his career ends in the stomach of the Eaters of Vile Things.
We are hungry, Our stomachs will be pleasantly full. Let the feast begin. Those are the waterworks that supply Carthage's fountains. I've never really given it any thought. My people stay away from this city where we are stoned and insulted. It's hard. The surface is smooth and hard as metal. However, go back on your steps, turn left, and walk to the base of the structure. You'll see against the wall a giant ivy that will grant purchase to crampons. Yes, but the noise of our feast will distract the guards.
Spendius manages to enter Carthage by the waterworks supplying the city. He emerges from the reservoirs by a supply grill dug into the middle of a cliff. The night is warm. The scent of spices, tar, and dried algae emerges from the sleeping city. No one in sight. A cat-like leap, and our thief is in the streets of Carthage.
Good evening, Night Owl. We belong to the house of Senator Bostar, one of the city's most important men. We are waiting for our master to take him to the Temple of Moloch. The Senate is holding a special session this evening to discuss important matters that are beyond your understanding. How lightly you speak of sacred things. Outside of those times when there is a procession, only the priestesses have the right to contemplate the Veil of Tanith.
What do you want from me? My shop is closed at this hour. I have work to do, but speak more softly. You'll wake my wife. It's our domestic genie. I give him offerings so that he'll protect my house and my city. I'm usually a generous man, but times are tough and everyone keeps his provisions for himself. If you're thirsty, I recommend the Starlight Tavern. It will be opening soon. You'll have to wait for the Feast of Tanith, which will be held in 3 months. Normally, the Veil of the Goddess never leaves the temple.
Quiet, break! At this hour of the night, honest folks are all asleep.
Hola! Passerby! Did you by any chance happen upon my master, the treasurer Hannon? The Senate is meeting this evening, and I must advise him as quickly as possible. I will surely be whipped if I don't find him in time! Absolutely. After having escaped a mutiny, he returned to the palace. He ate a snack of dormouse crystallized in honey to recover from his ordeal. Then he went out without telling anyone where he was going.
Halt! A bum like you has no reason for being in the sacred precinct. It's the pride of our city, you nitwit. It's where we worship our gods and where public matters are handled. Now off with you!
Halt! The Senate has decreed a state of emergency. The barracks, port, and arsenal areas are all locked up at night. We may be attacked by the mercenaries. The city is concerned. The price of food will surely increase, and we anticipate that there will be shortages. In fact, if you bring us any meat, we'll offer you a good price.
Greetings, O Night Owl. May the goddess bring you love and joy. I am Night Breeze, priestess of Tanith. I live in the sacred precinct, and each night I go out to sell my charms to profit the temple. I have a rendezvous with Senator Hannon. He wants to lie in my arms and forget the rude experience he has had today. It drapes the statue of the goddess like a sparkling cloud. We're keeping it sheltered, deep within our temple. Of course, she is our grand priestess. Her beauty is unequaled. It sits in the sacred precinct like a woman's breast being offered to the skies. It is devoted to love, the moon, and water. In front of it is the Temple of Moloch, god of the red planet and devastating fire. It's a place of power and cruelty. Carthage prefers Tanith. In times of grave danger, however, it happens that the people despair of the goddess and turn towards Moloch. Human sacrifices are then numerous, and the exterminator principle sometimes responds to these offerings with a terrible miracle. don't expect to see her here. Although she's my mistress, she has less freedom than I do. She never leaves the sacred precinct. And seeing as you are neither a guard, nor a priestess, nor a senator, you will not be granted entry. Hannon is not someone you can cross with impunity. He is a senator and treasurer of the Republic.
I greet you, Spendius the Rebel. Know that I can help you in your endeavor if you prove that you are a friend to my subjects. Ask the people of the city. They will tell you that I am a poor beggar, blind and crazy. But truth be told, I am a king with thousands of subjects. The birds in the sky. They fly all over the city and report what they've seen. I love them as much as I hate men. My eyes may be blind, but I can clearly see to the depths of men's souls, O Spendius. I know that you wish to obtain the Zainf, and I approve. The inhabitants of this city would deserve to be punished. They are criminals who trap birds and eat them. In front of the Zainf is a threatening guard. I know how you can charm him, but I will only share my secret with a friend of the birds. Thank you for the grain that is offering sustenance to my proteges. In exchange, I declare you a friend to the birds. You have earned my help, Spendius, and that of my subjects. But first, find a cage and bring it to me. I entrust you with my little princess. Take good care of her, for without her, you cannot get to the Zainf. Now, listen to these words that will guide you toward your goal. As each pair of demons howls in unison, the door of terror will open up for you. Pass in front of the treasures, follow darkened corridors, and find the path leading to the gardens. In the sacred groves, a female bird sings, and the bicephalous bird, a male, is caught in the trap. Near the slumbering monster grow 3 sleep-inducing flowers, to be picked, ground, and then thrown in the fire. Put she who watches to sleep, charm the guardian, and close your hand over the sacred vein.
Yes, and none too soon. The day has been long. It's a little too dry. The crops in the backcountry will suffer unless the mercenaries destroy them first.
The mercenaries threw stones at Hannon and his escort. They behaved like animals.
Hamilcar went to find Matho and the other chiefs to ask for justice. They didn't listen to him, he who commanded them for so many years.
Matho, the barbarian, was obstinate. They say he's advised by a certain Spendius, who has turned him against Carthage.
This Spendius is a potent rascal. According to some rumors, he's an escaped slave, less than a nobody.
The coffers are empty. The war with Rome ruined us.
Carthage ruined? That's what the Senate says. If you ask me, the treasury contains enough to pay 10 times the debt owed to the mercenaries. And if this were not the case, all that would need be done is confiscate Hannon's assets. He's grotesquely rich. In fact, it's the Senator's greed that may very well lead to a war.
I don't see any other solution.
I hope we'll be able to avoid the worst. We shouldn't underestimate the mercenaries.
They lost the war against Rome.
But they won many battles during the course of the war.
He's ambitious. The Senate is wary of him, as they should be. He would stop at nothing to gain power in Carthage.
Calumny! He's the Republic's best general. He did great things during the war against the Romans. If the Senate had listened to him to the end, we would still have Drapan and Lilyby.
Hannon is a good treasurer, concerned with the public interest. He is competent at handling the Republic's accounts.
Hannon is not worthy of his position. I suspect him of diverting fiscal revenue to his own advantage.
Shh! He's nearby, in the last lodge.
Oh? Well, from where he is, he couldn't have heard me. Anyway, he must be very busy.
Absolutely.
I'm not so sure. The mercenaries' defection hit us hard.
Defeatist. We still have our war elephants, the civic infantry, and the sacred legion that have never backed off from a fight. If that isn't enough, the priests of Moloch can always conjure up the demons of the ramparts, like in ancient times. You're right. What's the use of endlessly discussing events that are beyond our control?
The future is uncertain. It's a good time to drink and forget our worries. Don't you know who's in this lodge? Senator Hannon. You can't disturb him.
Halt! Meat! That's a highly valued merchandise in these troubled times. We'll buy it. Here, take this money.
Here's some wine. Take advantage of it, as it hasn't been rationed yet.
Don't you know who's in this lot?
Closing time.
respects, Senator. You are expected in the Temple of Moloch. Do not dawdle, the council has already begun.
My respects, Senator. Hurry and join your colleagues. The session has already begun. Believe me when I say I'm most sorry, Senator. We did our best.
Spendius mingles with the senators present in the Temple of Moloch. Hamilcar recounts the failure of his mission to his peers. A chorus of indignant protests greets his account. We must rid ourselves of this mercenary riffraff. The money they are owed, let's melt it in their mouths in the form of lead ingots. Despite the prudency advocated by Hamilcar, the furious senators immediately vote for war. The session is over. The room empties, and Spendius is left alone, hidden in the shadows of a pillar. Avoiding the main door, the adventurer takes a partially hidden exit that opens up onto a deep staircase. A terrible noise is heard. A mechanism has been activated, and a grill has just fallen behind Spendius, cutting off his retreat. In front of him is a corridor where a mournful echo can be heard. The Zainf seems to be very far away.
Senator, what a surprise. You frightened me with that mask over your face. Could you remove it? May the crescent of Tanith light your way, Senator. So, you've come to find peace in the gardens of the goddess? It's a wonderful night for appreciating the smells and the play of shadows. It's a hymn to the goddess Tanith, a very old song written at a time when the moon had barely emerged from the primordial waters. No, oh no, Lord, that would not do. You may be lucky enough to come upon her in the gardens, but I doubt it. Salambo rarely leaves her private rooms, except when she goes to the Saint of Saints to carry out the rites. I would like to, but my duty to the goddess requires that I stay here.
Spendius! You dare take the Zainf? A curse on you for stealing from Tanith! Hate and revenge! There was no need to insult the goddess to deliver this message. Give me the veil, Spendius. Give it to me. Massacre and pain. Will my marriage be celebrated on the ruins of my birthplace?
By the goddess! The thief has draped himself in the Zainf! Hold back your weapons!
The thief leaves the temple under the protection of the veil. Petrified, the guards let him pass. No one dares stop him, for fear of damaging the Zainf. Spendius leaves the sacred precinct atop an elephant that he has commandeered. He has a moment of fright when a pig falls between the legs of his mount. The elephant panics and begins to shy away, but its rider is able, luckily, to calm it. Stupefied passers-by see Spendius leaving through the city doors. He moves further away, taking Carthage's luck with him. The mercenaries greet him triumphantly. His having obtained the Zainf erased their last doubts. Now, everyone wishes to go to war. The chiefs call a meeting to draw up a battle plan.
We have the Zainf. The Carthaginians are losing confidence, and their allies are ready to defect. There is nothing stopping us from acting.
We need supplies. I'm off to commandeer some from the backcountry.
I'll go show the Zainf to the coastal cities. Once they see it, they'll understand that the gods have abandoned Carthage. They will join our cause and provide us with the machines we need to take the city.
I'll stay here to guard the camp. If the Carthaginians attempt to leave the city, I'll push them back into their walls.
And Spendius, your mission will be to rupture the waterworks supplying Carthage. None. The Carthaginians have a few reservoirs, but the present drought will force them to ration water, and they'll be suffering from thirst. You'll find a way. After all, you were able to steal the Zainf. That's great, Spendius. If all of us do our jobs, Carthage will be crushed. Tell me, Spendius, before you leave, answer me. Did you see Salammbô in Carthage? Did you speak to her? I'm glad. I want her to know that it's for her that I'm fighting.
At the end of the council, the chiefs each go their own way. Matho leaves for a mission on the coast, carrying with him the Zainf. Narhavas leads his cavalrymen into the back country. Authorite remains to guard the camp, along with the majority of the troops. Spendius, for his part, reflects on the possible ways of sabotaging the Carthage waterworks.
Greetings, oh Spendius, skilled archer, killer of pigs, provider of food, stealer of zainth, and scourge of the Carthaginians.
Ah, Spendius. I learned that you humiliated the Carthaginians by getting hold of their sacred cloth. That's excellent news. It is more solid than the Earth's very bones. Only supernatural forces can destroy it. More than ever. Don't try to scale the structure. The only known route is the one you've used. And unfortunately, after your first exploit, the Carthaginians won't let themselves be surprised again. I think it gathers water from the mountains, but I've never been in that area.
This road leads to the mountains and backcountry. It crosses dry solitudes infested with the dragons of the sands. Don't go that way. How to refuse the man who brought us the zainth? I'll entrust you with a mount, Spendius, but take good care of it. Treat it well, and bring it back to me in good health.
Spendius' quest takes him all the way to the Hatchet Mountain Pass. In a temple long forgotten by man, he removes the eye from a statue of Moloch. Spendius discovers the underground canal supplying the Carthage waterworks. He throws the eye of Moloch into the current, setting off a devastating explosion. The waterworks, cut off from their source of water, are no longer supplying the fountains of Carthage. Spendius has completed his mission. All that's left for him to do is meet up with the mercenaries and announce his success.
Spendius! I didn't expect to find you here. Alas, this is a bad time. We've been beaten by the Carthaginians. I'll tell you everything that happened.
While Spendius was exploring the Hatchet Pass, Hannon left Carthage, leading a strong army. The war elephants and the renowned Sacred Legion jostled the mercenaries, led by Arthurite. The Gallic chief, drunk at the time of the attack, allowed himself to be caught unawares. He was forced to flee to the Solitude Mountains with his men. This is where Spendius finds the mercenaries, after having ruptured the waterworks and crossed over the mountain.
And so, through Arthurite's fault, we experienced a humiliating defeat. Hannon occupied our camp and pushed us back into the mountains. Near the water, filling his canteen, it took a lost battle for him to stop drinking wine. Unfortunately, our defeat renders your exploit useless. No, Spendius. We cannot fight against bad fortune. I fear neither men nor elephants. But there is on this mountain an idol that fixes us with its sinister eye. The fire of its gaze brings misfortune upon us. We'd have to be crazy to engage in battle under such ill omens.
May the red fury infect Carthage, rot Hannon from the inside out, and damned be the Etruscans and Balears who gave up ground to the enemy.
Carthaginian idol has lost its eye. Could this be an omen? Might it be that the camp's fortune is shifting? The omens are favorable, but that's not enough. Before obeying, we want to be sure that you know how to lead an army. Answer my questions, and we'll judge if you're more worthy of commanding us than was Authorite. While sacrificing prior to the battle, 12 birds of prey fly off to your right. What do you do? That's right. A flock of birds off to your right is a good omen. Is a lunar eclipse a good or bad omen for an army that must flee? Right. A lunar eclipse favors a fleeing army, especially if the army is withdrawing at night. If the enemy camp to the west and you've camped out to the east, do you attack in the morning or wait until the afternoon? If the enemy camp to the west, and you've camped out to the east, do you attack in the morning, or wait until the afternoon? Big mistake. The men will have the sun in their eyes if you set out to battle in the afternoon. You're still not worthy of being our leader, Spendius. If your cavalry is greater than that of the enemy, will you seek a battle on the plains, or in rugged terrain? Good answer. The cavalry will have the advantage on the plains. If you are fighting with your back to the sea, are you better off attacking at day's end or in the morning? Yes, that is the best thing to do. You will have more chance of favorable winds, for it generally blows from the sea at the end of the day. If the enemy camp to the west and you've camped out to the east, do you attack in the morning or wait until the afternoon? Well done. This way, your enemy will be fighting with the sun in the eyes of its troops. You surprise the enemy in his camp in the middle of the night. You can either entirely circle him or lead him a way out. Which would you choose to do? Good answer. It's dangerous to drive your enemy to the point of despair. You answered well, Spendius. We are ready to follow you into battle.
Spendius rallies the conquered mercenaries and marches on Hannon. At the same time, Narhavas and his cavalrymen return from having gotten supplies. The Numidians are prodding forward a group of pigs commandeered in the backcountry. Narhavas meets up with Spendius before the battle begins. These providential reinforcements give Spendius the cavalrymen he was lacking, and a group of pigs, somewhat unexpectedly, spread out on the battlefield. In front of the mercenaries' army, Hannon is lining up his troops. At the center of the men, he places his elephants and the glorious phalanx of the Sacred Legion. The mercenary troops are pushing the pigs towards the enemy lines. The elephants, wrought into a frenzy by the pigs, are turning against their own camp. As they blindly flee, they carve a bloody path through the Sacred Legion. Despite the losses sustained, the Legion holds steady, tightens up its ranks, and slaughters the pigs. In a perfect spot on a clear terrain, the Numidian cavalry makes every effort. but the enemy infantry valiantly resists. There are heavy losses on both sides, but it's the discouraged Numidians who finally cave in. The Balearic slingers give up under the Velites that rain down upon them. When everything seems lost, a resounding cry is heard. The Sacred Legion is retreating. Badly harmed by the elephants, the Legion gives up in front of the mercenary infantry that had reserved its forces for this decisive confrontation. The retreat of the Sacred Legion gives renewed courage to the Numidians, who attack once again. Emboldened by the Numidians' example, the slingers take up the charge. The Velites are retreating. The civic infantry is retreating. The mercenaries are victorious. Spendius is victorious. He captures the enemy general, chases the remainder of his army from Carthage, and regains control of the mercenary camp. Shortly after the battle ends, Matho returns from his journey to the coastal cities. He brings with him engines of war that are immediately placed in position in front of the ramparts. Carthage will truly be under siege.
I've spread out our war engines throughout the army. I gave the Helipole a siege tower armed with a ballista to the Numidians. But Narhavas tells me that his men can't adjust their aim. I'd like you to go help them.
Spendius, my men need you. They don't understand how to use siege weapons. Climb to the top of the helipole and help them adjust their aim. Spendius, my men need you. Spendius, my men need you.
I was waiting for you, Spendius. Climb on the helipole and adjust the ballista installed on the platform. We need to hit the banner hanging from the enemy's ramparts with a flaming arrow. I'm counting on you.
So, Hamilcar has received full powers from the Senate. I'm glad to hear it. Tell the general that I hold his friendship in high esteem. His cause is my own, and I will follow his lead.
Hamilcar thinks highly of you, O Narhavas. He promises you his daughter's hand in marriage once the rebels have been crushed.
Salambo? But rumor has it that she's in love with Matho.
Hamilcar will not let his policies be dictated by his daughter's feelings. You are the one she will marry. As for Matho, he will die for not having understood where his best interests lay.
I will be worthy of the esteem in which Hamilcar holds me. Has he decided on a plan of action?
Above all, he wishes for us to get rid of the slave Spendius, stealer of the Zaimf. It is dangerous to allow such a serpent to live.
I guessed at Hamilcar's wishes. One of my men is already off to seal Spendius's fate.
Perfect. Let's move on to the second part of the plan. Hamilcar will make a move. He wants you to be ready to attack Matho on the flank, while he charges from the front. The effect of surprise must allow us a victory. There's only one question that remains to be answered. Are you absolutely certain of your men?
I speak for them. Follow me and we'll tell them that we're now fighting under the flag of Carthage.
Truly? Well, I'm glad to see you made out all right. I find that hard to believe, Spendius. I've always known Narhavas to be a loyal man. Salammbô is mine! Narhavas will never have her! I'll break that smelly jackal's spine! We must move quickly, Spendius. The Numidians' defection has left us weak, and we need reinforcements. I've heard that you have ties with the Eaters of Vile Things. Go find them, and persuade them to fight with us. Warn Authorite, and tell him to prepare for battle. Come back to see me once you've carried out my orders.
Don't go towards Carthage, Spendius. You'll be caught by the shots from our war machines.
That's what happens to upstarts. You made enemies by wanting to rise above your station in life. Nar Havas has gone over to the enemy? Well, I guess we really will have to wage war. Leave my tent. I need to prepare myself.
On the other hand, we haven't had a feast in a while, and our spirits are accordingly low. Destroying Carthage is a feat the glory for which must be yours. Destroy the city, and we will celebrate your victory by dancing on the ruins. We know not how to wage war on an empty stomach. Do you have any food for us? Those are just snacks, only good for preparing us for the main meal. Hanan himself. No, he doesn't look too mouth-watering, I'll grant you that. But once roasted and prepared, he would be a succulent meal. Done deal. In exchange for Hanan, we swear to follow you into battle. Gather the troops, sound the trumpets, and move forward! We will surprise Nar Havas before he launches his attack.
Spendius and Matho are quicker than Nar Havas. They come upon the Numidian army, leading the Gauls, Balears, Etruscans, and their pariah allies, and chase them into the backcountry. It was time. Already Hamilcar is leaving Carthage. Spendius and Matho turn around to face him, and attempt to catch him between them. Hamilcar immediately reacts. He sends some of his troops to fight Matho, while he marches towards Spendius with his elite soldiers. To the south, Matho is victorious, and pushes the enemy back into the city. To the north, Spendius is having problems. He quickly understands that he cannot hope to conquer, by normal means, one of the era's best generals. To save his army from being totally destroyed, the adventurer must retreat towards the Solitude Mountains. Alas, this happens to be the exact spot where Nar Havas has regrouped his forces after his defeat. Like wolves heading off game, Hamilcar and Nar Havas push the mercenaries into the Hatchet Mountain Pass. They block off any possible escape by throwing rocks from the tops of the cliffs. Spendius and his men are caught in the trap. The enemy is content to keep the high position, waiting for thirst and hunger to do the job.
It's your fault that we're trapped here, Spendius. Our time is limited, and all I hope is that you'll die before me. I want to see you let out your last breath like a burst bladder. There's nothing in this pass. Not one single thing that a human being could eat. Leave this sewer? The lack of sustenance has driven you crazy, Spendius. The men are too weak to move and no longer have any faith in you. They won't obey you. Are you dreaming? The enemy is solidly camped out on the heights, and no matter what he does, Matho won't be able to dislodge them. Don't count on his help.
May you be torn in half by Guzil and burnt by Moloch. I've listened to your wonderful words, Spendius, and now I'm reduced to chewing sandals. Give me something to eat, and I want fresh meat, not carrion or bits of leather or roots. I would give you images, beautiful images that surely have magic powers.
Spendius is at the end of his rope. His legs can no longer support him, and he falls, and stays, down. Hunger and thirst have gotten the better of him.
By Melkart, meat that is still warm. Thank you, Spendius. In exchange, take these precious images that I found in this room.
Spendius is at the end of his rope. His legs can no longer support him, and he falls, and stays, down. Hunger and thirst have gotten the better of him.
By Melkart.
Spendius is at the end of his rope. His legs can no longer support him, and he falls, and stays, down. Hunger and thirst have gotten the better of him.
By Melkart. Spendius is at the end of his rope. His legs can no longer support him, and he falls, and stays, down. Hunger and thirst have... By Melkart, meat that is still...
Hey, comrades, quickly! It's time to relieve your fellow soldiers. Go take up your post in front of the general's tent.
Despite the ever-present danger, Spendius has a taste of victory. He has survived hardships, escaped the Hatchet Mountain Pass, disguised himself to successfully infiltrate the enemy camp, and is now spying on his enemies, Hamilcar and Narhavas. Listening to their conversation, he learns that Matho's army is camped out at the foot of the Solitude Mountains. It is thus close by, but, as could be expected, in a position where it cannot make any move. His service over, Spendius, pensive, moves away. Matho cannot risk an attack, unless a daring adventurer, having infiltrated the enemy camp, offers him an occasion not to be missed. Spendius starts a fire in the Mount's enclosure. The elephants destroy the camp, not unlike a raging tidal wave. The fire quickly moves from tent to tent. The night is filled with howls. From the plains, Matho can see the enemy camp burning. He seizes the opportunity and prepares to attack. Hamilcar dies, trampled by his elephants, while Narhavas flees. Left leaderless, the Carthaginians and their allies are quickly conquered. Matho finds Spendius amid the smoldering ruins of Hamilcar's camp. They free the survivors in the Hatchet Mountain Pass, then march on Carthage. A desperate Carthage turns to Moloch. Hundreds of victims are thrust into the Red God's flaming stomach. Satiated, the god grants the city supernatural help. The stone demons, perched on the ramparts and temples, come to life to fight the mercenaries. The city still has a few troops. It groups them behind the animated statues, and the army ventures out to wage its final combat. Among the mercenaries, Etruscans and Gauls decide to wage war attached to a bronze chain. This ensures that no one can turn back. Matho brandishes the zaïmph, standing in front of a troop of elephants stolen from the enemy. While he is in the front lines, Spendius is left with the task of positioning the troops against a Carthaginian army consisting of men and demons. At the mere sight of the demons, the pariahs quickly turn around. The Etruscans and Gauls, in the second line, are angry at seeing their allies behaving in such a cowardly manner. Furious, they tighten their ranks to prevent them from fleeing. Caught between the demons and the mercenary infantry, the pariahs are massacred. The advance of the demons is slightly hindered by the piled-up corpses. The civic infantry suffers huge losses, faced with the elephants led by Matho. Seeing the zaïmph held aloft by the enemy drains the Carthaginians of energy and accelerates their defeat. The zaïmph, emblem of Tanith, evokes the fury of the demons of Moloch. They turn towards the elephants that confront them, and a battle is soon raging. Neither of the adversaries take care to protect its flanks. Giving up ground, step by step, to the demons, the elephants seek refuge from their attackers' flaming breath in the nearby ocean. Powerful but stupid, the demons pursue their enemy into the ocean. The fire creatures are destroyed as soon as they enter into contact with the water. The annihilation of the demons breaks the Carthaginians' morale. The enemy camp is in total collapse. The mercenaries are victorious. Carthage has lost its last war. Abandoned by gods and men, the city falls to the mercenaries. Spendius savors his revenge. On the scales of destiny, his actions were heavier than all of the resources of a millennial city. Salambo and Matho meet up in the city, amidst the pillagers. Glory be to Tanith, who inspires and governs the love of men.